Hey YouTube, so Tory Lanez has finally been convicted. He was found guilty on all three charges: assault with a firearm, negligent discharge of a firearm, and possessing an unregistered firearm in a vehicle. And this nigga is going to face up to 22 years in prison. He was actually taken into custody immediately after the verdict. He will be in jail until he is sentenced. His lawyers have already talked about filing an appeal, which I saw coming, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm just glad that this nigga finally was found guilty. This was the only correct verdict. I had no doubt in my mind that this nigga shot Megan. I've believed Megan since the beginning. She had nothing to gain for lying on this man. In fact, just coming out and speaking on it put a huge target on her back. Megan has been the target of mockery and harassment and bullying for the past 2 to 3 years that this whole situation has been going on. The other males in the industry that she works in have been bullying her, from Drake, 50 Cent, the Baby, who else? Joe Budden, Nicki Minaj, just a bunch of other people who have been throwing shade and calling her a liar and mocking her, and they're still doing it to this day. They're claiming that this is an injustice against a black man, and that a poor innocent little black man is going to jail again. But people with common sense, people with logic, people who are not black male worshippers, they knew this nigga did this shit. The jury wasn't as slow as some of y'all. The jury looked at the evidence that was there and said, yeah, this nigga did that shit. Like, it's common sense. Now, some people are mad at Tory Lanez's lawyers for everything they did to try to cast reasonable doubt. But y'all have to understand, a defense attorney's job is to defend their client. And in our justice system, everyone has the right to representation. So the defense attorney went to as many lengths as they could to get their client off. That is their job, y'all. That is their job. They have to do everything they can to try to get their client off. And I think his lawyers did the best job that they could. When you have a guilty client, when you have a client who's truly guilty, you have to go through great lengths to try to cast reasonable doubt. One of the witnesses, Kelsey, she got amnesia on the stand. One of the other witnesses went missing. The DNA evidence was coincidentally inconclusive, even though it was his gun. What else? Just a whole bunch of different narratives that they put out there to try to cast reasonable doubt. I think they did a damn good job because, with everything that they were doing and witnesses coming up missing and all this other bullshit, you had jurors in the elevator with Tory Lanez and his team. I think they did everything they could to try to get this man off. But at the end of the day, when you look at the evidence, plain and simple, just plain and simple, it was clear as day that he did that shit. And there was nothing his lawyers could have done other than really contact the mafia and try to use the mafia to get him off. But I think they did everything they could for their client. But this nigga was guilty. And the jury could clearly see that. And, it is what it is. This nigga's going to prison. They can have filed an appeal if they want to. But, y'all, this nigga has other cases coming up. This nigga done assaulted August Alsina. He got other assault cases that he's going to court for. This is not some innocent little man that black men and stupid black women are trying to paint him as. This is not some other innocent black man going to jail. This is a menace to society. This is a violent, angry, unhinged little leprechaun. This man has anger issues. This man is violent. This man is a thug, and he needs to be locked up. He needs to be away from society. Using his son as a prop, using his son for sympathy is just so fucking pathetic and disgusting. You had that little boy in court for hours every day just for you to get locked up in front of him right before Christmas. You're disgusting. A lot of people didn't even know about Tory Lanez's son until he shot Megan. Nobody saw or heard of Tory Lanez's son until he shot Megan. After he shot Megan, there were a lot of things happening to try to discredit Megan and make her look bad. You had the rival record label feeding the blogs bullshit. You had Tory Lanez's team feeding the blogs bullshit. All of a sudden, Tory wanted to show his son on Instagram when nobody even knew he had a son before this trial or before the whole Megan situation. But after he was outed for shooting Megan, all of a sudden he got his son on social media. He has no shame. No shame whatsoever. I mean, he was going to court smiling big as shit, had his son on his back, like they just left Chuck E. Cheese. How are you just disgusting? This is one of the worst types of people ever. I mean, this nigga know he shot her. He knows that he shot her, but he kind of like taunted her this whole time. He was on Instagram, writing messages, talk about he forgive her, knowing damn well he shot this girl. He was in music videos cutting up horse legs, dropping albums and shit where he was gaslighting her, smiling big as shit, writing Bible quotes on Twitter. Child, this is the worst type of nigga. This is one of the worst types of niggas. To know that he did what he did and to respond the way that he did, just gaslighting her and taunting her, knowing damn well he shot that girl. And there was a bunch of conspiracies that went out there. You know, a lot of people are accusing Kelsey, Megan's former friend, of shooting Megan. But that don't make sense, because here's why. Megan, the victim, the woman who was shot, said this nigga did it. Okay? And I mean, she's the biggest witness there is. She's the one who had the bullet fragments in her foot. She's the one who was shot. She knows that who shot her. It was Tory. Okay? Not only that, but the theory of Kelsey shooting Megan doesn't make sense, because you have to explain why was Kelsey texting the bodyguard right after the shooting that Tory shot Megan. She said that clear as day in the text messages. Tory shot Megan. Secondly, if Kelsey did it, why was Tory Lanez in jail talking to Kelsey over the phone, apologizing for being drunk and offering them money? If Kelsey did it, why was he on the phone apologizing to her? I don't know about y'all, but if I see a bitch get shot and the bitch say I shot her, but I saw the bitch who shot her, I'm going to say who shot her. I'm not going to be quiet and, not say shit. Now, some people are saying he wasn't allowed to talk because of the trial, but the thing about that is this nigga dropped the whole album. He was making comments in the shade room, refuting rumors that Kelsey did it. He was making paragraphs and shit talking about he forgives Megan. This nigga could speak on it then, but when it comes to what happened that night, Tory Lanez is the only person that didn't tell us what happened that night. He never once said what happened that night. Never. You had Kelsey's descriptive account of what happened during that September 2022 interview. You had Tory Lanez's own witness, the defense's own witness, saying that they saw this nigga shoot 5 times, which matches what Kelsey said. She said that she heard this nigga shoot 4 or 5 times in that interview, just for his own fucking witness to get up there and say, yeah, I heard this nigga shoot 5 times. It's like, y'all know this nigga shot her, but I don't know what it is about Megan, because this has less to do with Tory Lanez and more to do with Megan. A lot of men just don't fuck with Megan because she's not a pick-me. When you listen to her music is very much so, I wouldn't say female empowerment, but it's definitely not black male worship, okay? A lot of her lyrics are pretty much about, fuck niggas, I don't need a nigga. I get money, I get my own money, fuck a nigga, take his money, this, that, and the third. It's not really no pick-me type shit. So, also the fact that, a lot of black men live vicariously through black male celebrities, especially rappers. And, a lot of black men just hate women. They hate women in general. It don't matter what their skin color is. A lot of black men just hate women. Okay. And, but when you look at the case from a logical standpoint, okay, it's common fucking sense that this nigga did it. Let's rerun the evidence. Like I said, number one, you got the victim's own testimony. Megan said that this nigga shot her. She's the one who got shot. I'm pretty sure she's the strongest witness in the case. Secondly, you got the text messages from Kelsey telling the bodyguard verbatim, Tory shot Megan. Okay. Thirdly, you got the witness who was the defense's own witness saying that they saw that nigga shooting angrily 5 times. Okay. What else? You got the phone call of Tory apologizing to Kelsey, talking about he didn't mean to do it. He was drunk, this, that, and the third. You got text messages of Tory apologizing to Megan. Okay. You got gun residue on this nigga's hands. Not only that, but the gun was his. The bullets in Megan's foot matched his gun. The gun was on him at the time of the scene. All the evidence points to him. Okay. Y'all want to talk about DNA not being found? My thing is this: they never said his DNA was not on the gun. They said the DNA that was on the gun was inconclusive. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to this shit. There's a lot that the defense and the prosecution can do to get some evidence thrown out, or manipulate the system to where some evidence can't be shown, or to even do certain things to, like I said, I'm pretty sure that nigga's DNA was on the gun, but some way, somehow, they probably convinced them that the evidence was tainted or the DNA was tainted or something. I have no doubt in my fucking mind that nigga's DNA was on the gun. For whatever reason behind the scenes, they just couldn't announce that. They do shit like that all the time. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes, with these court cases, especially high profile cases where you got highly paid lawyers who have connections and who have knowledge and who know what needs to be done to get their clients off. Nevertheless, DNA evidence is not always left at a crime scene. Plenty of other violent crimes such as murders, robberies, rapes, things like that. A lot of times DNA evidence is not left there either, but DNA evidence is not the only evidence, especially when you have three different people. You got Megan, you got Kelsey, and you got the eyewitness, all gave pretty much a step-by-step detail of what happened. The only person that ain't told us what happened is Tory. Tory is the only person that ain't told us what happened. And even if he didn't want to discuss it before the trial, he had the opportunity to take the stand to tell everybody what happened. But the thing is, he couldn't take the stand to tell us what happened because nothing he would have said would have made sense. Nothing he would have said would have matched the evidence because he's the one who did it. You got three other people who said at one point that he did it, gave details of how he did it. He's the only one that ain't took the stand and said what happened. He never once told us what happened that night. What we can't refute is that the fact that Megan was shot. She had bullets in her foot. We saw the video of her limping out of that car with blood leaking from her foot. She was shot. And Tory was there. And he knows what happened. My thing is this. If a bitch is telling the world that I shot them, but I saw the person who actually shot them, even if I don't speak, before the trial, even if I don't even take the stand, I would at least tell my defense attorney what happened. But the defense attorney didn't give a step-by-step of what happened either. All the defense did was try to just cast doubt on the evidence that was present. They didn't give an account of what happened that night. They just tried to cast doubt on the evidence that was present. And there was some clear witness tampering, jury tampering happening, because how does one witness who had a full 80-minute interview, all of a sudden she don't know what happened? Then you got the DNA evidence coincidentally not being conclusive. And then you got a witness coming up missing. And then you got a jury member in the fucking elevator with Tory Lanez and his team. It was clear as day that it was some shit going on behind the scenes. But like I said, his defense was doing what they had to do to cast doubt on the case. And they did their job. But no matter how good of an attorney you are, these are people with common sense on the jury. They can see and the thing about it is, the people on the jury, they try to pick people who don't know about these people. They try to pick people, because I've actually been summoned for jury duty before, and there's this process that they go through. You have the prosecution, and you have the defense, and you have the judge, and they ask everybody in the room different questions, personal questions, ask them if they know anybody on either of the teams. They try to make sure that the people they select for jury duty can be fair and impartial. Now, every now and then you have someone who's crooked that slips in, but for the most part, they do a very thorough process of selecting who to pick on the stand. So these people on the jury, most of them anyway, probably didn't know that they didn't have a dog in this fight. They had no reason to pick a side or to be biased because they didn't know who these people were. They didn't have any personal interest in this case. So they can look at the facts and the evidence from a logical standpoint, and it was clear as fucking day that Tory did it. They even had a fucking chart. It didn't even take all that, y'all. People online and on social media, they doing all these mental gymnastics and trying to cast doubt and trying to act like shit don't make sense. Shit made perfect sense, okay? It was somebody shot Megan. It was either Kelsey or Tory. You got screenshots of Tory refuting that Kelsey did it. You got phone calls of Tory apologizing to Kelsey. You got text messages from Kelsey saying that Tory did it. You got an interview from Kelsey saying that Tory did it. You got an eyewitness saying that he saw Tory shooting. You got Megan herself, the victim, saying that Tory did it. I mean, come on, y'all. And all of y'all out there going so hard for Tory Lanez, I'm just disgusted. Like I said, I'm just disgusted. I'm truly disgusted. Even if you didn't want to just automatically say that Tory was guilty, you could have at least given that same energy to Megan, that same courtesy to Megan, and just wait for the evidence to come out and wait for the verdict to come out. But y'all have been dogging Megan for the past 2 years. Y'all have been harassing her for the past 2 years. This girl got on the stand and said that she would have rather him just shoot her, because it's so fucked up, because Megan wanted this shit to go away. She didn't even initially tell the police. She didn't want this shit to get to this point because it was so early in her career, and she had just lost her mama, just lost other family members. She was going through hell. She was grieving, and she didn't want this shit to go out there. She didn't even press charges against Tory Lanez. The fucking DA of California charged Tory Lanez. And it's the fact that she still had to go through this, even though she's not the one who tried to put this nigga in jail. She tried to protect this nigga, and y'all still bashed Megan when she tried to protect this nigga. I don't understand this culture of Blackistan, okay? Black women, I'm gonna need y'all to start calling the police on black men. Fuck all that bullshit. You being a man, you being a pick me, and you trying to cape for black men. Fuck that. If a nigga put your life in danger, if a nigga assaults you, if a nigga abuses you, if a nigga puts you or your children in harm, you have a duty to call the fucking police and get justice. Because this nigga, while you sitting here trying to coddle and baby him, even though he has no regard for your own life, he's gonna take that same violent behavior and put that on somebody else. This is not the first person that Tory Lanez has assaulted. He has other cases coming up, y'all. All y'all out there caping for Tory Lanez, I hope y'all got enough energy in y'all, because he got a few more cases to go of this nigga being violent and unhinged and just a loose fucking cannon. He fucking beat up August Alsina over some real petty shit. All August Alsina did was walk past this nigga, and Tory Lanez got a whole fucking fit, followed him out of the building, and antagonized him. Over what? All the lies being told in court, they were not discussing their sex lives. In that interview that Kelsey did in 2022 in September, they were not discussing their sex lives. They were discussing their careers. And his ego got fucking bruised, and he started shooting at her. And there's a lot of niggas out there like Tory Lanez. Y'all talking about, oh, y'all celebrating a black man going to jail. He deserves to be in jail. And men like him deserve to be in jail. This nigga know what he did, but he had the audacity to taunt her. Smiling ear to ear and shit, going to court with his son and on his back, making music videos where he's cutting up horse legs and shit. Knowing what he did. And what's even sad is that y'all know this nigga did this shit. He did this shit. But because y'all hate women so much, it's like, you don't care that he did it. You want it. Either way, Megan was gonna lose. If she would have stayed silent, she would have just suffered in silence. But she went out and said something, and she's still wrong. It's like, how dare you telling this black man? How dare you telling this black man they're about to send another black man to jail? Bitch, you dumb bitches saying that shit. This could have been one of y'all. And that's why I can't respect a bitch like Kelsey, because even if you don't fuck with Megan, he beat your ass too. He grabbed your ass by the hair and fucked up your neck. And you still trying to protect him? Now they're saying, she could have been bribed. She could have been threatened. Or there could be a conspiracy between her and, her husband and the label that Megan is right. I don't know. But as a woman, as a mother, a man, even if you don't have human decency towards the woman that you saw get shot at, you as a woman, as a mother, how can you protect a man on the stand that beat your ass as well? And y'all talk about we will never know what happened. Bitch, we know what happened. That nigga shot her. 3 different people done said he shot her. You got gun residue on his hands from his own gun. You got text messages, phone calls. Come on, bruh. If this would have been anybody else, y'all wouldn't have been doing all this shit. But like I said, all of y'all that's out there riding Harvard Tory Lanez, y'all got a long way to go because this nigga got some other cases coming up. And his dad want to get on social. And this is another thing I can't stand about niggas like this. Tory Lanez and his daddy want to bring up religion and talking about God and all this other shit. Where was God when you was shooting that woman? Where was God before this case? Y'all always want to bring up religion and God and shit when y'all get in trouble. This ain't no, man, fuck y'all. Talk about Rock Nation and Jay-Z set him up. Tory Lanez is not that fucking important. I don't know. What the fuck do y'all think this is? Why do y'all think this nigga is so important that somebody gotta set him up? Let alone somebody like Jay-Z. For what? I don't understand what y'all think that this is doing for Megan's career. This has hurt Megan's career. Even though there is a guilty verdict, this will taunt Megan forever. It don't matter how many Grammys she get. It don't matter how many sponsorships or endorsements she get. It don't matter how many more #1 singles she get. This will always follow her for the rest of her life, and it will fuck with her for the rest of her life. And we don't know how this is affecting her mentally. I mean, she done already said she was suicidal. So it's like, Megan had nothing to gain from this at all. Nothing. In fact, it hurt her. In fact, she didn't even want to take it to this point. But when they were taunting her and spreading lies about her, she had the audacity to say, okay, this is what happened. This nigga did this to me. But y'all made her the villain and him the victim. And that's what happens a lot of time in Blackistan. Blackistan and the whole Black Lives Matter movement, it's all about coddling black men. It's all about enabling black men's behavior. It's all about avoiding black men of their own accountability. It's all about protecting these niggas who will shoot, rob, rape, and murder you the very next day. Y'all out here marching and protesting for these niggas. These same niggas that will shoot, rob, murder, and rape you the very next day. And, you know, it is, y'all gonna be mad at me, but it is what it is. This mentality y'all have, oh, I can't call the police on him because he's black and they're gonna shoot him. This nigga just tried to kill you. This nigga just beat your ass. This happens so much, so many times, so often. I mean, we saw it in our own households. These niggas putting their hands on our mothers. These niggas beating the shit out of our mothers. These niggas pulling guns out and shit. But y'all don't want to call the police because y'all scared the police gonna do something to him. He's the one that's hurting you. The police are here to protect you from him. And I'm not saying all police are good, but bitch, why do you care so much about his life when he don't give two shits about yours? This nigga just shot at you. This nigga just beat your ass. This nigga just put his hands on you. This nigga just hurt your child and you too scared to call the police on him because you want to protect him from the police? Man, this shit don't make sense. And black women got the nerve to talk about we the most unprotected, disrespected. Y'all don't even respect yourselves. Y'all don't even try to protect yourselves. In fact, y'all try to protect the people who hurt y'all. But we're going to see what happened. At least for this now, we can celebrate. And yes, I am celebrating a black man going to jail. Fuck y'all. I don't give a fuck what y'all say about that. I am so happy another black man is going to jail. Because this man is a menace to society. He's violent. He's unhinged. He don't give a shit about other people's well-being. We need niggas like him off the streets. This nigga needs to go to jail. This nigga needs to get the fuck out of our country because I know he ain't from here. He got to get the fuck on. He got to go to jail. And I hope he get the maximum sentence. We don't know what's going to happen with sentencing. But yes, I am celebrating the fact that this violent, ugly, ruthless, unhinged little leprechaun nigga is going to jail. I'm so happy about that. Yes, I am. And I make no apologies for it. What about the black men that he assaulted? August Alsina. What about the black woman that he assaulted? What about the other black woman that he assaulted? Ain't no sympathy for them. Ain't no pity party for them. But y'all want to talk about, oh, we celebrating this black man going to jail. This black man deserves to be in jail. Because if, matter of fact, y'all probably wouldn't care if it was y'all mother or y'all sister. Y'all gonna always ride for y'all own gender. It is what it is. We all know most black men are butt buddies anyway. You know, there's a lot of misogyny in the Blackistan. It is what it is. And undercover niggas who really just hate women because they want to be one. It is what it is. But y'all, I'm so happy that this nigga is going to jail. I'm happy that the jury wasn't slow like the rest of the black men on Instagram and some of the mammies and pick-me's on Instagram and Twitter. I'm glad the jury wasn't as slow as y'all. This nigga is guilty. This nigga is going to jail. And yes, I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating the fact that another violent thug is off the streets so that he can no longer harm anyone else. Yes, I'm very happy about this. Justice for Megan.